There were 18 of us on about 9 boats, so 2 in each boat. And then, so we had a really hard time steering. We started off the second one to leave, and we were the last one to show up at the end because we kept running into trees. A lot of trees, and if we weren't running into trees, we were running into bushes. And then, so we canoed for about 6 kilometers, and then we stopped for lunch. We all had our own homemade lunches that our Swedish parents had made us. I made my own lunch, a homemade pasta salad and sandwich, sweet old Swedish lunch. And then, which, by the way, as I was making my lunch, my house mom insisted that I took chocolate with me, choklad. When I told her, no, that's okay, I don't need to take any, she said, yeah, you should. You can look at it as a treat at the end, or you can look at it as just a way to get energy, but you should take choklad with you. Choklad med du. Chocolate with you. That was her her reasoning behind it. So she packed me chocolate, lots of chocolate, to take on me canoeing. So we stopped for lunch, and then we got back into our boats, and we went back through the back canals and all this stuff, and we went another 5 kilometers, and just as we were leaving the site for lunch, when we still had about 5 kilometers ahead of us, our boat tipped over. Our boat. After convincing my host mom the whole way there, no, our boat won't tip over. And she said, there's always at least one person that tips over. And I said, no, that won't be us. We won't tip over. Well, sure enough, we did. We were the first ones to tip over. So, and of course it was in the muckiest, most undesirable place we could have tipped over. There was mud up to our knees. There was mixed with cow patties, and it was very unpleasant. But luckily for us, it was a nice day. It was still warm out, so even though all our stuff was drenched and dirty and uncomfortable, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. So anyways, we finished our canal trip. Beautiful. I'll be posting pictures on my actual blog soon enough, again, once I get that computer sorted out. And then, actually, I didn't take any pictures. So pictures that people have posted of me, of course, all the pictures that were posted of me were of me eating, but I will be posting as many pictures as I can find of the canals. Everyone was scared to take their electronics into the boats because we were warned that you will tip over. So after that was done, we went up to a campsite and we spent the night in huge military tents. The military tents fit about 10 people in each. There were 2 of them, and there was a heater in the middle, and we all had our thin mattresses and our sleeping bags, and we had a fire, and we made what the Swedes call booms. It's where you have tinfoil and you mix vegetables with potatoes and meat, and we put that all together and we wrapped it in tinfoil and we put it over top of the fire, along with some homemade sauces and dips, and it was just, you had about 20 people in a lineup, all of the Rotarians and the Rotary students, all working together to make this dinner. So we were all sharing cutting boards, and we were all taking turns, and it was quite the ordeal, but it turned out really well. So then we did that, and we played the Swedish version of baseball. I don't actually remember the name of it. And then we spent the night, and then we played some songs around the fire, and we sat there and we roasted marshmallows, and we had bananas, and we put bits of Swedish chocolate into the bananas, and then we put it over top of the grill, which really amazing. I highly recommend it. And then once we were all in bed, we woke up the next morning with a nice banging pot all around the one of the Rotarians banging a pot all around the tents at 7:30 in the morning, nice and early on a Sunday. We woke up, had some breakfast with some brunbröd, brown bread, och ost and cheese, the classic Swedish breakfast, and we got all ready in our cold, wet clothes once again. And then we head off to finish the rest of our travels. So we had finished 11 kilometers the day before, and our plan was to finish another 6 kilometers on Sunday to finish off the trip. And so we headed off again, and then luckily another person had tipped over, so we didn't feel so left out. We were heading down a rapid, and just a small one, and their boat hit a rock and it tipped over instantly. So they were not comfortable. And on Saturday when we tipped over, at least it was a nice day. It wasn't such a nice day on Sunday. It was cold, it was raining, and where they tipped over, the current was so strong they were struggling to pick up their boat. So, like I said, it could be worse. So we set off again. Then we stopped for lunch after about an hour and a half. This time, once we had stopped, we had some classic cookies and marshmallows and our lunches, and we all talked about what our plans were for the week. And when we left, the currents that were finishing off the trip were much stronger, so it was a little bit more excitement worthy instead of just slow paddling. But of course, we tipped over again. Our boat. Again. We were getting back into the water from lunch. I swear, lunch was just a really bad time for us. But we were getting back into the water after lunch. Someone was helping push us in, and they pushed us in on an angle, and we slipped over. We flipped over. It was not the best of times, but luckily for us, the trip was almost over, and we got to enjoy the last hour or so with some quiet paddling and some beautiful scenery. Luckily the water wasn't cold. It was just one of those shocks like, oh wow, we're in water again. And then actually the person who had tipped over earlier that day tipped over once again. He went to go stand up in his canoe, and everyone told him, sit down, you're going to tip over. And of course, he said, no, I won't tip over. I know what I'm doing. And just as he said that, he fell into the water. And he was soaked. Really soaked. So we finished our trip. It took about another hour and a half. We got to the end. We took all our canoes back onto the land. We washed our canoes, and then we were able to get picked up by Rotarians. So after drying off and putting on nice dry clothes, what I had left, I got a ride to the train station where my host mom picked us up. Me and the other people in the same city as I am. So we were picked up, and we headed home, and within 20 minutes we were all passed out in the back of the car. So it was an amazing trip, and it really was a lot of fun. We started about 6:30 Saturday morning, and we were done around 4 in the evening, Sunday evening. So it was long, but it was definitely worth it. If you have never been canoeing, I highly, highly suggest it. Very relaxing, very calming, very, depending on where you go, but the scenery is just beautiful. And although I do suggest that if you have the choice, kayaking may be your first choice. It's a little bit hard to rely on other people when you are basically turning around in circles for a good 5 minutes. We ran into that problem a few times, bad communication, and we would turn out just going in circles and circles and circles a few times, actually. So yeah, that was my weekend. So ha det bra, have it good, have a good day. Vi ses, see you, hej då, goodbye.